What's good, you guys? Welcome back to the Garden Room Podcast. I hope you guys are feeling good. I hope you guys are enjoying this time of year as it is December, and it's just one of my most favorite times of year. It is always such a joy to be able to reflect on ultimately the life of Jesus and also just time with loved ones, time to just be able to enjoy all the different festivities and things going on. So I hope you guys are just immersed in the joy and the goodness that this season brings. And in the midst of that, I hope you guys are also doing well individually. I pray for you guys and think about you guys so often, and just I'm so thankful y'all are here. And so if you're new, my name is Mari Thrower, and these are just devotional episodes to hopefully encourage you, uplift you, and just really remind you of how loved you are by God, especially throughout our journey of growth and being able to grow in Him and learn things as He consistently just restores us and helps us to be the person that He is calling us to be. So as we get into today's topic, you guys, as I was reading the book of Exodus and just thinking about this, I just want to remind you that God is everywhere. God is everywhere. He is in everything. And when we look for Him, we will find Him. I think a lot of times I find myself missing God in moments because I was not looking for Him, because I didn't take the time to notice. I didn't take the time to be aware. I didn't take the time to invite Him in certain spaces. And as we go throughout this season and we reflect on Jesus and we reflect on Him coming into this earth and doing just the miraculous and amazing things that He did, and then being so self-sacrificial and so loving, and really just being able to lay His life down for us so we can have a relationship with the Lord. As we reflect on all of that, as we go through that this season, and that you're reminded of that, I want you to just keep in mind that God is everywhere. And when we look for Him, we'll often find that He is not hiding from us, that He has been right there the whole time. And so I was reading in Exodus, which I want to read with you guys. We're going to hop right into it. But Exodus chapter 3, and I want to go through verse 1 through 4. In verse 1, it starts off saying, "Now Moses was tending the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian. And he led the flock to the far side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. There the angel of the Lord appeared to him in flames of fire from within a bush. Moses saw that though the bush was on fire, it did not burn up. So Moses thought, I will go over and see this strange sight, why the bush does not burn up. When the Lord saw that he had gone over to look, God called to him from within the bush, Moses, Moses. And Moses said, Here I am." And I just want to stop there because that is enough. There's so much more that comes after that. And so you guys should go back and read it. But those first 4 verses just kind of captivated me as I was reading through this book, because a lot of times I will find myself either nose deep in my phone, constantly consumed with school, constantly consumed with other things, and always just wrapped up maybe in my own thing, that I will miss out on an opportunity with God. And I just love how Moses was doing his thing, tending to the flock. He was on his way, but he stopped to notice. He stopped to see that there's something unusual happening over here. And he took the time to go look into what it is. And I don't know what might be taking place in your life. I don't know how God may be just putting His hand over different things, but I promise you that God is working. And when we pause to take the time to notice Him and take the time to invite Him in and be curious and ask questions of why did this go this way? And why did this happen like this? And asking God, what is taking place in our lives? What is taking place on our pathways? What is He doing? What does He want us to see? What does He want us to just be drawn to in Him? And Moses took a second to say, there's something going on that is miraculous about this bush, that it's over here burning and it's not getting burnt up. And when I just look around, if you go outside and take time to just notice other people and you're not on your phone, because I'm guilty of this all the time, being on my phone, responding to texts, whatever. But when we look and see that most of the time, 9 times out of 10, people are on their phones, which is not always a bad thing, but we're always occupied, always being entertained, always having something in our face, that we're never able to notice what's actually going on around us, then it's going to be hard for us to look away. It's it's going to be hard for us to see that there is something happening on our pathway that God may want us to take time to pay attention to. Because the minute that Moses did that, it said that the Lord saw that he had gone over to look. He had to go out of his way to go over and look at what God was doing. And then God called him and said, Moses, Moses. And I think a lot of us are saying, God, why aren't you maybe speaking to me? Why aren't you showing me things? What is taking place? But I think God is just inviting us to notice him. Notice his hand. Notice things in his word. Notice his voice. And when we're able to do that, and it may not always be in that order, it may not always be in those steps, but God is so gentle. And when he calls us, he does it in such a gentle way of saying, hey, look this way, look over here. I'm not going to scream at you. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm not going to scare you into just grabbing your attention. There's times where God does just allow us to experience him in his fullness of really recognizing his authority. And we're able to see that in a different way, but we're also able to see the beauty of his gentleness. Both sides are beautiful. Both sides are needed. And in this moment, Moses has a heart of awareness. And that has been something that I've been praying for over myself, saying, God, give me your awareness. Help me to see you in this space where I feel like I don't see you. I feel like I can't hear you. I feel like I don't know what's going on. Help me to know that you're right here, because your word promises that you'll never leave me. You'll never forsake me. And so throughout this season, throughout this time where it is actually so much busyness, so much going on, there's a lot of great things. You have 50,000 different Christmas parties, activities, things you want to do, all these different things. It seems like there's so much commotion. Ask God to be able to still your heart. Ask him to be able to show up and help you to see him when he does. Because there's nothing worse than looking back and saying, man, I think God was trying to show me something and I missed it because I was so busy wrapped up in whatever I was doing. Yet I missed out on what he was trying to do. Know that God wants to use you. He wants to speak to you. He wants to know you. And so allow him in. Allow him to do that and be reminded of that. And so recognize that God is everywhere. He is in everything. And he is working on your behalf. And ultimately, for us to be able to glorify his name, as he is later in this chapter asking Moses, he's calling him to an assignment to say, I want to use you to bring glory to my name. God wants to use you so he can bring glory to his name. And so I want to encourage you to be like Moses. Take time to be curious, to notice, and to recognize where God is at in your life. And you will find so much peace, so much joy, and honestly be able to see that God has been right there with you the whole time. And you will keep being able to walk out in your purpose and walk out in his plan for your life. So as we go throughout this holiday season, know that the Lord is looking for you and that he wants you to keep seeking his face. But with that, you guys, know that I'm praying for you always. I'm lifting you up, cheering you on, and know that the Lord loves you. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next episode. And until then, keep growing with God.